Welcome to the ACEVEDO store. Today I'm with my co-host for this review, TheDarkBaby.
That's me.
Yay! Today we're going to review the Angry Video Game Nerd movie from 2014, written and directed by Kevin Finn and James Rolfe, who Rolfe is also the creator of the show that the movie is a spin-off of, and reviewing it for its 10th anniversary. Yay!
Yay! Cue claps.
So the story is our main character, the nerd, who reviews terrible video games and posts them online to tell everybody to not play those terrible video games.
Oh my gosh.
While also reviewing video games, he's working at a GameStop, Game Cops, a video game store that sells more or modern releases. Arriving at the store, he realizes that they're making a sequel to E.T., the apparently terrible Atari 2600 game, and that is based on the Steven Spielberg movie of the same name.
Mm-hmm. And little do we know, we get to go on a mission from all places, the desert, right?
Yeah, they go down to Nevada to track down the burial ground of all the E.T. games where they're buried at since 1983.
And we're being chased by the FBI.
Yes. It also correlates with Area 51 because the burial ground is near it in the movie. All relating to the game somehow. So that's the basic plot of the movie without giving too much spoilers. I want to first bring up, before we start talking about it and all that, where do we come from our knowledge of Cinemassacre? What do you knew about before watching this movie?
I just knew I was gonna watch a movie. So I was hoping I was in for a treat because the title had video game in it. And I'm more of like a casual video game player. Like, you can always catch me on my Nintendo Switch beating everyone on Pokemon Unite. But I did not know I was going to be watching a reviewer-based movie of a reviewer. Had no clue about that. What about you? I'm assuming you're a fan. Right?
Yeah, but first I want to bring up, you told me that you had no knowledge of Cinemassacre or James Rolfe. Nobody at all.
No, nothing.
What about Board James?
Nope.
Monster Madness?
Nope.
Alright, so we have somebody who has no idea who Cinemassacre is, contrasted to me, who's been I've been a long fan of Cinemassacre, probably since 2017, I would say. I essentially watch every episode by episode 200.
Wow. Also
seeing the other stuff that James Rolfe has done, like this stuff I mentioned, Board James, and was it Monster Madness, of course. So this movie was, James Rolfe has said about this movie, that it's made for the fans. So theoretically it's made for my enjoyment.
Yes.
But I brought you here for this review because I have this question, is it possible for somebody who isn't a fan of James's content actually enjoying the movie? So
or become a fan.
Right? Yeah, becoming a fan and all that. Alright, we're about to watch the Angry Video Game Nerd, the movie. Now, what's your knowledge of the Angry Video Game Nerd?
0 to none. So I hope I'm in for a treat.
Do you know anything about video games, as this title suggests?
Ooh, I'm pretty interested. I grew up with video games, but I grew up like a Nintendo girl.
Oh,
so
I
I grew up very Pokemon based.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm hoping I'm watching something that's I don't know, I'm kind of interested by video game and what this is going to be about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This might be a little bit older than, technically Nintendo's the oldest video game company out there, but, a little bit before Nintendo started producing video game consoles on the topic manner. So this will be interesting. So, what do you think of the movie?
If I were to get a rating out of 10 stars, as someone who enjoys film, enjoys aesthetics, and enjoys beauty, I would give it maybe a 2-star. But for enjoyment level, I would say 3 stars. And if I was drunk or high, maybe 5 stars.
So it wasn't the best movie.
It wasn't the most cinematic masterpiece I've ever watched, no. But I did enjoy that it was very creative, and they used a lot of video game tropes, which was pretty cool to see. Like damsel in distress, she played the redhead played Princess Peach at one moment.
Yeah.
And she's tied up and she needs
then
help.
it completely twists it takes a twist of it and all that.
Yeah, and then I mean, did you watch the newest Super Mario movie?
Yeah.
That was like, we have like a kick-ass Princess Peach, so it's like she like saves herself.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool to see.
I see, yeah. For me, I thought the movie was, because I seen this movie beforehand, and I thought it was really awesome. But after seeing it today, I will say, like, it's pretty good. Like, in terms of technical quality, it's entertaining where you can have a sit down and have a good laugh of it. But there's, like, a lot of issues I have with it. More like with somewhat with the story. Some stuff is not really established well. So, like? With the nerd is, like, persuaded because he doesn't want to review the game. Because it technically traumatized him as a kid when he was younger.
It's a big therapy session for him.
Yeah, like, so, like, everybody wants him to review E.T., like, the original one and all that. But he doesn't want to because he had bad memories of it as a kid. And not like from, like, you know, the movie, the game sucks and I hate it and all that. More like it haunted him in his dreams, like being
dramatic.
Yeah. That one is actually not really much of an establishing issue and all that because it technically establishes it. It's more like it doesn't really fully explain, like, why would you be, like, what's going on there? Why you be traumatized by, like, you know, like, barely 8-bit pixels?
Yes.
Just like Atari graphics.
I mean, that alien character did look pretty scary.
Yeah, and
so I would get it if I saw that if I was, like, 5, right?
I would say the movie would have been, like, a little better if, like, there was something going on that wasn't him, like, dealing with his fears. Because, like, his fears are not really established well enough, like, you know, enough evidence to go, like, I understand why he must play the game and all that. And it's like, if he was just like, it's just a bad game, I don't want to play at all, and there was something else that made him, you know, that made him, like, okay, now I have to review the game and all that. Well, there is, like, the initial part where it's like there's, like, some time thing where, like, he has to review the game because, like, the new game, the sequel's, like, coming out for it, and they bring up, like, oh, when the new Transformers movie came out, you reviewed the Transformers games. Oh yeah, the new Spider-Man movie came out, you reviewed the Spider-Man game, which are actual reviews. So those are nice callbacks.
Yes.
He doesn't have to do it. He could do it, like, next year or something and all that.
Maybe make the mission more, like, with the deadline or, like, important.
Maybe maybe have more stakes to it.
Yes.
Yeah, because, like, this one's kind of, I wouldn't say a little too simple, but, like, they have, like, stakes to the game, like, facing against your own fears. But, like, there isn't really much adding on to that, I would say.
Maybe they should have put, like, $1 million paycheck, right? That would make anyone do anything.
Yeah. Well, probably, like, the nerd-ass character wouldn't take $1 million to review the game. Because you hear the type of dialogue he says, like, I'd rather do this.
Oh, yeah. So not PG-13.
It's more like our language according to the ACEVEDO.
Yes. What was the rating for this movie? Do you know?
There is no rating.
Unrated.
But, like, probably I would say, like, you know, the MPAA or they would just give it an R.
I mean, we do see a guy with getting his arm blown off.
And then cutting off by the,
Yeah, I missed that part because at the end of the movie I was like, wait, where did his other arm go? He has no arms. I only saw one being blown off.
Yeah, I was kind of confused about that because, like, I remember you were laughing when his arm gets blown off, but not the laughing part where he gets the arm cut off,
I
like,
missed that part. So when I saw him with 2 blood sockets, I was like, what did I miss?
Yeah. If we're getting to more spoilers here and all that, might as well go for it. But, like, the nerd establishing part is, like, I forgot what's the guy's name, the guy in the red jacket and, like, the red head. I guess we're just going to call them that.
Okay.
Oh, we were trying to think about it.
Yeah.
So, like, apparently they had, like, something going on between each other. But, like, it's never, like, like, it comes out of nowhere mostly. Like, there's nothing, like, going on, like, like, you know, some build up and all that.
Yeah, there was no, like, introduction or flirting. It was maybe they were just, like, intimate, like, in a room together, I guess. Yeah,
something like that. So, like, that came out of nowhere. I was like, what? Like, he is saying, like, the guy with the red jacket is saying, like, some offhand remarks here and there. but it's not really much to the point where like, oh, they're in love with each other, but not really much like going on there. In the scene where the redhead goes outside, like after like when like the guy comes into the nerd, he's like dude, she ditched us and all that. She's working for the FBI, she's undercover and all. I was like, where did they get all that from? Like he's not very suspicious of her at all. He welcomes her in the beginning of the movie, like, oh, the nerd will be interested in reviewing ET too.
I mean, they just jumped in her van.
They call her up and all that. Like, oh, he wants to review ET too, but you have to take him to Nevada to do it.
Okay.
and also that comes with another issue I have with the movie was that like
it was very easygoing. To me, that's why it gave very like, I guess like it gave stoner vibes, where it was like if I were to watch this stoned, like
then it would probably be more enjoyable.
I would be like, okay, cool. Like a thought that I had while watching this movie was like, this is the type of movie that your uncle puts on while he's babysitting you. So I was like, I would have been like, what am I watching, Uncle? It's such an uncle movie to me. Do you get that kind of vibe?
I probably get that vibe if your uncle is like really into video games or something.
Yes,
like...
and he was. My personal uncle was.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, he used to like put on like Ching Ching Chong for us and stuff, and we were like 8. I'm like, what are we watching?
Like the pacing of the movie seems a little bit fast and going. Like not like everything happens on a day-by-day basis. Like there's like or the better words, maybe hourly by hourly basis.
Yes.
Like for example, like when they're at the Xander's house and like the redhead gets like a phone call from like the video game company she's working at. And they're like, oh, we're going to assemble a video game convention. And that happens the next morning. I was like, how do you like do that? Like, do you just like do like the most intensive marketing within 12 hours?
Right. And like everyone like just like shows up, like, and it said morning. So it's like, and they called like at what, let's say midnight, because she woke up tired.
Yeah.
They're like 8 hours to show up to this convention.
Like 8 hours promoting. Maybe he was like planning it.
Already?
Yeah. Like there's probably would be work better if there was like scene in is like right after like she has the like, because they have like a Zoom call with each other and they're like, I don't know about this trip, this is taking all our money. Maybe like when they end the Skype call, we cut to the office, is like, I wonder how we should recoup. Oh, a convention, have it at that burial ground and all that. And we have like a live event, which funny enough, the actual burial, like digging up the Atari cartridges was an actual live event.
Really?
Yeah.
I would say for the pacing, I noticed that the first 20 minutes were like awesome. They were like funny, they were cool. But then when we get to the house of the... what is it? The inventor, like that stole Xander. When we got to his house, like it did slow down like quite a lot, and then like it like took a while to pick up. But then we had like a kick-ass like scene. Another spoiler alert, when we're like captured by the soldiers, and we're on the the doctor's table. We get like a cool fight scene. That was pretty cool.
Area 51 like.
Yes. The army base. We got taken to like the army base.
Yeah.
It took a while for the action to like pick up after a while. So I would say like the pacing story-wise, it took a long time.
It like takes its time, but not like in a good way.
Yeah, not in like a like let's take in the nature, smell the flowers type of way.
It's more like what else you're going to do? Smell the flowers again? Right,
like we were in that refrigerator scene for like kind of a long time.
Yeah.
Like talking in the refrigerator. We were there for a while.
And I have a problem with the pacing as well, but not too much of a way as you would go with it. To me, it feels like an extended episode of like the show itself.
Oh, okay.
Like it overstays its welcome a little too much, but at least like it's enjoyable enough where I don't really take like a very huge issue with it. And where I go like, this movie's like a drag. It's more like, okay, it's going a little longer than I expected it to be.
And I think the comment that you made earlier was that it was made for the fans. Yeah. And I think and viewing it as like just a appreciator of movies and films, I didn't know all the lore of him. I noticed that it did take a long time to get some points made across to like a casual viewer like myself.
Yeah.
But I think if I were viewing it as a fan, I would love all of that, like the longness and the more references.
Yeah.
But as like a casual viewer, I did start like dozing off when we got to Xander's house.
Yeah. There's like the one like scene that like they're explaining that's Mothquist. Yeah, I think that I pronounced it right. But like they're explaining his backstory, and I hear like from a review like it's like a little too long. Like they essentially stopped the movie so they explain all these things that will later be picked up and all that. I feel like maybe that could have been explained a little better. Like if they weren't like just standing around, maybe like they're walking around like, oh, what's that mountain over there? Looks like Mount Fuji and all that. Like, oh, you know, like that Mothquist is like under Mount Fuji. It's like, ooh. But like that's also another thing with establishing fact, like the nerd friends, the guy in the red jacket and all that. He's apparently really into conspiracy theories. It just like comes out of nowhere when they're at the Nevada desert and all that. Like, and maybe if there was like an earlier scene where he's like talking about like conspiracy theories and all that, like they're having a beer conversation, like oh, you know about this?
Or they could have had like him show up with like a tinfoil hat or something.
Well, yeah, maybe tinfoil hat might be a little go too. Well, actually, for this movie, it's probably not going to go too far.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like in jokes that I find funny and all that, but with the in jokes, I feel like they kind of overstay their welcome and all that. For example, there's a cameo from Lloyd Kaufman. You ever heard about him or no?
I know the Kaufman brothers. Is there any correlation?
No,
okay, so
he owns the company Tremor Entertainment as a filmmaker, and he's known for the Toxic Avenger movies. His part was funny, but like it kind of overstayed his welcome. Also, other jokes going on, which they don't overstay their welcome, but they are actually really well. Like there's another cameo from like, you ever heard about Nostalgia Critic?
No.
Okay, so he's also a reviewer, but instead of reviewing bad video games from from your childhood, he reviews bad movies from his childhood and all that. And he makes a cameo in the movie.
Oh, cool.
There's actually several online creators who makes cameos and all that throughout the entirety of the movie.
Little Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's like another thing where the movie's like made for the fans, because usually the same group of fans will be interested in other people's content and all that. But I would say like the cameos don't aside from the Lloyd Kaufman cameo, which is like, I know it's not a nice thing to say because it's really funny and all that, but I feel like for this movie kind of overstays its welcome, while other cameos like don't overstay their stuff and all that. I like the music though. The music was really awesome and all that.
You like the how it fit into each scene? Yeah,
it fit into each scene. Like a music cue of them, like kind of like piqued my ear, was when they arriving at the burial ground and they play the like Homa style music to the trio from Ennio Morricone, like the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
And also like the Top Gun scene, like towards like the end where they got to play like that like memorial type music.
Oh yeah,
I really like that. That was a really cool fit. I was like, I know that sound or that song. That's really cool.
The comedy is also like pretty funny for the most part and all that. There were some jokes that like not overstay their welcome, but they weren't really that funny, I would say.
I really enjoyed like that it felt like they were making a long video game, and like I just viewed it as like we got introduced to our nerd, which is our hero, and our hero has to go on a mission, and it's what was the mission? Is it to save the world? Because we got like a big robot.
The mission was just to like debunk the fact that the names weren't buried there, and
but then like a robot destroys the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, and then like then the mission like morphs into that like, oh, I guess I have to review the game and save the world.
That's
like the most inconvenient Sunday.
Right? Like I did not sign up for this.
Yeah. Another thing I would say, like I want to like say like the special effects.
Yeah, what about them?
I find them so from watching from the bonus features, James says like the special effects like technically weren't like intended to not make it look real. Like good special effects is you can't really tell it's special effects, or like you're not really questioning it's special effects. But he's like, oh, but that's a good part because it invites into the filmmaking process and all that. But it takes it into a bad way where like there's like some good effects that nobody even notices and all that, like the alien walking, and like,
or like what I did like is that it did feel 80s. Like we had like the life form of an alien, right? Like the green alien.
Yeah, E.T.
And like it would blink and it would like move its mouth and everything. Felt very 80s, which felt very cool.
Yeah. So that's a good part of of the film itself and all that.
Yeah.
Like some of these special effects, they put a little more effort in and all that. The miniatures, it's like
Oh my! There were so many miniature shots.
Yeah, but like so there was like initial like budget cut to that. Not really budget cut. It's like they ran out of money. They were filming it like mostly in Los Angeles, and then they moved all the miniature and additional special effects stuff to be filmed at New Jersey and all that, where James lives. But I think he like moved away somewhere else and all that.
In his backyard.
Yes, in his backyard.
What?
So like the scenes where he's like where the van falls off, the jet crashes, and I'm forgetting like I think there's probably more, but those are actually filmed in his backyard.
What? That is okay. Now see that I love that guerrilla style filmmaking, but it was just a contrast completely to like the movie.
Yeah, that was like really took me out the film. Like, with the miniature going around down there and all that. It kind of looked better. It was like shot differently, or maybe like a different setup. Like the jet crashing was like not really good. Like maybe like if they changed it like an angle where we don't see like an overheading.
I did like a lot though, and I found it so freaking funny is his friend is always falling off of places and he gets up like nothing happened.
Yeah,
like he fell off like at 100-foot cliff. He's like, oh, okay.
That's a pretty good gag to actually
that was
go
so
with and
funny.
all that.
I like those. Those are so funny.
Yeah, that's like a really good gag. Yeah, like where they just throw off the dummy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, another thing I have like with the special effects is that like I think it could have looked better if like different camera angles like made them look a little bigger or like made them then look that like their miniatures and all that.
Yes.
Like you notice the Eiffel Tower set.
Yes.
And so the Eiffel Tower set looks fine if they fix the color grading or the lighting, because like it's a fake background behind the set. Like it's not like blue screen, it's actual like an actual painted background.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool and all that.
It doesn't move, right?
Huh?
It doesn't move.
No, that's not my issue. It's more like it looks obviously fake, but there isn't like anything to try and not make it look less fake. For example, like the color grading in this film and all that, generally fine, unless when they're mixing it with special effects shots. You get like an establishing style Las Vegas, warm colors, close up to the set, blue colors, like what?
Yeah. And you needed maybe to like meet halfway or like not be so drastic.
Yeah, that's
a good point.
Yeah, not be very drastic there and all that. So like that's like another issue I take with the special effects is that like I get the idea, because James' idea was to go fully practical effects. From like listening from his documentary, he sounds disappointed like, oh yeah, we gotta use digital effects. But I feel like it'd probably be positive because it probably hides the flaws from practical effects and all that.
What do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy practical effects or digital effects?
That's hard to say because there's like movies I like where it has digital effects, but you can't even tell it's digital effects. I just want good special effects, man. I don't want to like point out like, oh look, CGI. Oh look, a box. Oh yeah, the nerd thing, like the missile scene where like the nerd is like trapped by the like Area 51 commander, and there's the missile goes up like to and it's obviously a miniature, but it's like too small in a way, because like when you're dealing with miniatures, it's like you have to build like different scales depending how far they're close to the camera and all that. They have like the missile going up, and you could tell it's like obviously zoomed in like a little too much, where you could tell that's just like very small and all
Looks
that.
like a firework.
Yeah, there's like some like the same thing with like some of the cutaways. Like whenever they're at Area 51, the missiles pop up from the ground or the camera. You could tell that's like it's a miniature, but it kind of worked better. Like let's say maybe like they like had like a different angle, like it's like hiding in the bushes and like it's like taking up like one space of the like half of the frame and turns over to the right and like focused to the background where we see all the people and all that. Maybe that could work better, or like they kind of like just done like a better job from these special effects shots.
I would say from what I noticed from the beginning shots, they were this is a funny take, but I noticed that they were acting really hard. It was like acting. It was very like it's like it felt like theater acting where it was like just acting too hard. I noticed that in the first shots. So I wonder if those shots were filmed like before the endings and obviously, or right when they were getting comfortable.
You mean like you mean like overacting, like
yes, it was just like
arms.
We're making a movie right now.
Yeah.
I noticed that in the very beginnings where I was just like, okay, this is like we're not going for an Oscar here.
Yeah.
That's just a take that I noticed.
Probably maybe that's something like written in the script, like some parts here and there and all that, like, oh, you have to do these type of poses and all that. But I get the overacting thing, like with overacting, like in theater, like the reason they do this is so everybody from the very back row can see it. But like the camera is like right in front of you. Like, why are you doing that?
Yes. I noticed that there was a lot of overacting. I don't know if that was maybe it's like a comedic take too, like made it funnier.
That's like another issue like I have with the movie is that like everybody is somehow like a little exaggerated.
Yes.
Like there's not really like the nerd is sort of like the only straight man character, I would say, which is funny because like he's like really like obnoxiously angry against these video games like in the show. Probably maybe that's like the idea, like the nerd is like the straight man we have to go along with, even though he's like really like not normally people will be that angry against a video game unless you have like a mental issue. Then probably you should get some help.
I'm very passionate about my Pokemon. A scene I wish was in the movie, because okay, we've seen the relationship dilemma between our redhead and like the blonde military girl.
McButters.
Yes, there was so much tension. I wish they would have like kissed. I wish the redhead would have kissed her and then killed her.
There was something going on there.
Yeah, there was something going on there, and I really that would have been a good cut, like extended cut.
That's like that would be like that would be like an off like a Simpsons gag where like it just comes out of nowhere.
Yes, and you could like see the blonde being shocked, and then she pushes her off the fake Eiffel Tower.
That would have
been awesome.
One last thing I will complain about the movie is the special effects. That shot where she like McButters just falls into
oh my god
phase in. I know, like
we both looked at each other and we were like, where did she go?
Like I heard, like I'm not sure if this is true because I didn't look through all the bonus features, but apparently in IMDb, which is not the best place for like really true facts and all that for trivia, is that it's like a reference to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 movie where like the main villain falls off a cliff and he fades
away
before he hits the water. And the nerd actually did review that movie in like on it and all that. It was like one of those like offhand like reviews. Those where like the nerd is not reviewing a video game and all that, but instead reviewing like this terrible Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. I'm not sure about that, but like I feel like that should have been just cut out. Like maybe like have like B-roll, like like I don't know what you would do. Like
would you just like falling off?
Like maybe like a
and then cut like back to the redhead's expression, maybe. Yeah,
maybe like a pan, like going down from the Eiffel Tower down to the water. Cut to like I don't know, like a studio set where they just have a pool of water and there's just like slam something there. Maybe that could have worked better.
I mean, for all we know, she could still be alive.
Wait a second. I don't think the geography doesn't make sense actually. Now I'm thinking about it, because like she like unless the Eiffel Tower moved, like the footage they played over where she's falling into the water, that's like a fountain show like for like a casino and all that. I think it's by Caesar's Palace. But like the Eiffel Tower itself, it's like across like
I've been. It's like next to like a CVS or something.
Yes, it's next to the CVS, right around the corner. But it's like it's across the street. That's the point. So if she fell off, then that means she
flew,
trajected there and all that. So for me, I'll give this movie I'll say like a 4 out of 5 stars, mainly for the fact that like although it has its flaws, I was entertained enough and all that where I don't really consider it as a very bad movie where I wouldn't watch it again. But at least it's like competent enough where like it keeps everybody keeps everybody along the ride and all that.
Okay, now to ask a curious question. As a filmmaker, would you recommend this to another filmmaker?
if the class was about like what's not to do for your first feature film, then yeah. Because this is James Rolfe first feature film and all of that.
Okay.
Like making short films for like I don't know, for like 20 years.
Wow.
Well, he started in 20 years because he started in the 90s and production for this movie started in 2012, 2011. What about you? What do you give it a rating to?
Out of personal taste, I would say a 2.5 out of 5 stars. And to answer my own question, would I recommend this to someone or watch this with someone? I probably wouldn't. Like, I wouldn't watch it again. But I am curious now to watch the reviews and like watch, like, I want to see his aesthetic and like how he is on his YouTube channel. I am curious now.
No, I see. So now we're going to talk about the Blu-ray release. Yay, everybody loves Blu-ray. Hey, and this comes on one disc for a 2-hour movie with 7 hours of bonus features. It also comes with stickers. I bought this used, so I'm not sure if the stickers came along with the movie itself. Oh wait, 10 hours of bonus features.
Wow.
Yeah. You want to like see it yourself?
Yeah.
So it has like audio commentary, like two audio, aside from like the several audio tracks, it has an audio commentary, a fan reaction, and where they recorded off like, you know, fans reacting to the movie and all that. And there's also like several bonus features like behind the scenes featurettes, movie updates, movie vlogs. Show off to camera. Look, there it is. Yeah. The bonus features is quite fascinating to watch and all that, like, you know, get some aspect of like the movie. Like the audio commentary is like recorded right after they premiered the movie. So it's like recorded in like a hotel room, but it actually does the technical wise, the commentary sounds pretty good and gives some interesting insights. Like you ever like for example, you wonder why like it's E.T. like with 3 E's.
Yes. Copyright, right?
Yes, so like the weirdest thing that happened with this was that like they got the clearance on all the Atari content.
Yeah.
So like Atari gave their approval, which and now I'm wondering what they initially thought about the movie, because like Howard Scott's Warshaw is in the movie, like the guy who created games. Do you notice that, or like you're like who's his actor?
I didn't know, but I had a sense how it was Shaw. I was like, oh, this is someone important. This is someone real.
He's the actual guy who made the E.T. game and all that. And there's an interesting story where it's like initially he was supposed to play as the Xander role, and like, you know, be like this cooked up like programmer and all that. But the thing is that like after he left the video game industry, he became a therapist, a family therapist. He's like, yeah, I don't know, you know, I don't want my clients to see this movie.
They want to see me as like a conspiracy theorist, like living in like a shed, shooting guns
at random strangers and all
with
that.
With lava in my house.
Yeah. So they got the Atari clearance, but then like the lawyers bring up like, oh, you got like Atari telling them like, well, we can't get clearance to E.T. You have to go to Universal because that's a licensed game or licensed property. They go to Universal, and Universal was like, well, you have to go to Emblem Entertainment and all that. And James Rolfe was like, we gotta talk to Spielberg about this. And like I think they gave up at that point. It's like, yeah, he's not going to respond.
Yeah.
You told me where we were watching this, you had some questions about it. Like, what were those questions?
A few questions I had, because I had no clue of who the nerd was. I was just like, is this real? Like, is this... And then that was the first question. I was like, is this nerd like an actual YouTuber? Because I love YouTube and I upload on YouTube. So I was like, is he like an actual
on
YouTuber? TheDarkBaby on YouTube.
TheDarkBaby. Don't forget the stud.
Yeah, I have a duh to make it more important.
Yeah. Actually, it's called... because I initially thought it was called The Angry Video Game Nerd, the movie. It's like the Transformers, the movie. Yes. But no, it's just Angry Video Game Nerd, the movie, because like we know we will be incredibly annoyed if there was a "the" there. Yes.
But so that was my first question, and then my second question was like, because I remember in like 2015 there was like an era where there was a lot of YouTubers were getting brand deals, like huge like movie deals, and like TV shows. So I was like, is this real, or and the second question to that was like, is that the actual nerd, or is that like an actor playing the nerd? Yeah.
This is like James Rolfe's like this is like him, like
it's all him.
He created the show and like he plays the character in the show and all that. Wow. And like him and his friend Kevin Finn co-written the script and all that. And it's like, yeah, I like when you see like the old videos, like initial announcements, like like, oh, this is the Angry Video Game Nerd movie. Yes, there is a game review in it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I like the like YouTube montages they had, because I didn't know what year this movie came out, so I was just like, oh, so this movie obviously came out after YouTube was made.
Yeah.
Because they had used the clips. So I thought maybe I was watching like a 2004 movie, but then because then they had like a flip phone in there too, remember?
Yeah, maybe it's like part of like a kerosene thing, like old man uses flip phones.
But then they had the iPhone, so I was like, okay, so we're more present day.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, that's like it's like on the cusp of this, like, you know, YouTubers getting like sponsorships and all that. I like I'm trying to think about YouTube history here, but like essentially first came the Angry Video Game Nerd, then came like everybody else. So like James Rolfe is essentially like, I'm willing to say creator, but he popularized the idea of like angry reviewers reviewing bad media.
Yeah.
But that's also like...
So he's to blame?
Yeah, he's to blame and all that. And that also comes along, like, that brings like a wave of other people doing the same thing, like Red Letter Media. You ever heard about them or no? They're famous for their 90-minute Star Wars Episode 1 review.
Wow.
Where the first line of the first paragraph is like, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace is the worst thing that ever happened since my son.
And he's the worst thing that exists.
And like and then also came Nostalgia Critic, which also came like during this he makes a cameo in the movie and all that. It's a guy like screaming and falling off his chair while the ET cartridge flies away. Hey.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that was a cameo?
Yeah, there was a cameo. There's also another cameo from Pat Contry. So he's known for Pat the NES Punk and all that, where he reviews NES games and all that. There's like, I know there's like several other cameos, like Mike Matei, which is like who helped, you know, kickstart Angry Video Game Nerd along with James. Like he told James like, hey, you should upload this on YouTube and all that. You should start your own website, cinemassacre.com. So he's like important, like part in like the Angry Video Game Nerd history and all that.
Yes.
And he makes a one shot cameo, well, two cameos, because like there's like a special effects shot which was actually pretty good. And it was like when like the nerd, like after he throws a cartridge into the trash can, he like looks over to his friend with the red shirt, and he's holding the microphone, and that's actually a green screen shot, and like it's really good because you can see the shadow on the shelf, but in the close-up shot where it's like over their shoulder, that's Mike Matei, because like they were back in like New Jersey, like filming and all of that. I'm not sure, I forgot which one started first, like if this started like during the production, but like Nostalgia Critic like started like the wave of like making like feature-length review, not reviews, but like feature-length like movies and all of them. And like they were like sell on DVD or whatever. Like one of them was like Kick-Assia, and the other was like Suburban Nights, I think. Oh, and so this like came around to like, you know, like the niche of movies are of spin-offs of like web shows and all that.
That was a question I had. I was just like, I remember the web show era, and like we're not really in it no more, correct? Like that web show to TV or web show to movie.
Well, not much, because like everything's just like interchangeable in a way. Like,
yeah.
It's like it's not really special enough where we have like some YouTuber appearings on TV.
Oh yeah, or making them like celebrities.
Yeah, or like appearing in movies and all that.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's like that niche of like, or like YouTubers trying to be filmmakers and all that.
Yes.
But the only difference is that James Rolfe initially started, like his career passion is wanting to be a filmmaker, and YouTube was more like a side thing and all that. Like the Angry Video Game Nerd content was like, you know, a joke for his friends and all that, and they're like, oh, you should upload.
And that's what took off.
Yeah, that's what like took off and all that. And so far, this is his one and only feature-length movie.
Oh, that's sweet though. It's like that's what he wanted to do, like before everything happened, and he got to make that.
He said like there's a like recent video of like, actually not recent, like probably in the last 4 years, there's a video where he says he wants to make another feature length film, but like currently he doesn't have the enough time right now to like, you know, like go forward with it, because like, you know, he's like, he has a family going on, which funny enough, right after he finished filming with us, his first kid was born. Part of the AVN movie is like a marker where like from the old, or like one era of the show to the new era of the show and all of that. And I think like this is like technically episode 120, or like a little bit more than that. I forgot like there's some playlists I figured out like, oh, this is episode 119, 118, then movie. That's what people say like he stands out the most because he started out right off the bat with quality content because he knew what to do like with filmmaking, like how to set up the camera and all that.
And he took it not seriously, but he had a like fascination for film.
Yeah.
So that's what set him apart too, I think. From someone who just like turned on the webcam.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one, now that I didn't know that you said the nerd was like a film nerd or film head.
Yeah.
That now it makes sense and it sets his apart from like, let's say, Shane Dawson's movie, because his was skit forward and character forward.
Yeah.
And this was more like using his personality in a film aspect.
Yeah.
Which now that you say that, it kind of makes me view it differently. But that's pretty cool. I like knowing now that he was like a film head, because that's like it's a big personality trait.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like interesting in that perspective. Was there any like other questions you wanted to ask about that, or?
Here's an interesting question. Would you want a part 2 or a number 2?
Yeah. No, probably like a part 2 would probably be like completely something different. Like, what are they going to do? Bring back Death Monsters? I would be welcome for like a part 2, like if that ever happens and all that. But what in the world would you do? Like, because like this came birth from the fact that everybody kept asking him to make E.T. like a review of E.T. the game. Like I don't know what other game he would like. Doesn't have to be like a movie review, like a review of him, like the crux of the like of the movies, like him reviewing a nerd game. I'll be opening like if the nerd was like thrown into a situation that nobody expected him to be thrown at, but not really much like to the like put to the point that I'm craving for like when's Angry Video Game Nerd movie 2 coming out and all that.
I wonder what I would want to see if I were. Would I want to see a part 2? Why not? Why not? I would say, would you just want to see another movie from the nerd?
I would say I'm more interested to see another movie from James Rolfe. Say like because he talked about his horror movie ideas. Like, oh, that sounds interesting and all of that. I hope he eventually makes it.
Is Angry Video Game Nerd retired?
No, he's still going. Like recently, like he just uploaded a video like last month or 2 months ago and all that. It's a little bit more different than it was beforehand and all that, because before he did all the work mostly on his stuff, but now he has like partnerships going on and all that. So yeah. Any additional questions?
No, I think I asked the questions I was curious by. Do you have any questions for me?
Would you recommend this to anybody else who you've probably never seen this movie and all that?
I would recommend it if I knew them and I know they liked video games, or if they liked like just a funny comedic like weird cult film. I would, but as like just like in general, from what I like, movies I like, I probably wouldn't recommend it.
You probably wouldn't recommend it to anybody else?
Just to like random strangers, I wouldn't.
Oh, I don't know how would I. Actually, I wouldn't recommend it. Like, unless you're a fan, this movie's made for the fans and all that.
Yes, or video game fans.
So probably maybe that's a way you could like recommend it. Like that's literally the only audience the movie will ever get. Yeah, like as the fans live on, this movie will live on. I'm not sure, like maybe it's like probably be like a thing, like people will study like in this area, like in this decade, you know, like film critics of the internet were making movies out of their content, or like online celebrities were making movies and all that, and part of this will be added on to that list. So it's really hard for me to actually, you know, recommend this to somebody who isn't like
in the know.
Yeah.
I would say it's a good, cool, funny film, but on my projects and what I watch, I love beauty and aesthetics and vintage aesthetics. So to me, it's not personally a movie I would seek out, since it's not focused on like beauty.
Yeah.
But it was a fun time, and I'm so glad that you invited me to watch this movie, because I wouldn't have found this on like my own. Like, is this available on Netflix or something?
No, I think you can buy it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I had no clue.
Or you could get the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
The Blu-ray's here. Yeah, you probably like. I think that's like the only places you like get it, like the Blu-ray or somewhere and all of that.
Thank you for reaching out and showing me
this oddity.
This oddity, you and you invited an oddity to review it.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was really cool.
Mm-hmm. And I'll say also thanks for like coming over and all that and being part of this experiment where you watched something that you had no clue of.
Thank you. And if the viewers like point of view that has no knowledge of films and likes that perspective, tell them to tell you to invite me back.
So that's all the video.
Have a good day.
And later on, come back to our video store.